Truly the first week of exhibition football. And now we're here. Okay, we're just a few weeks out from the start of the NFL season. You know, I tell you something about your guy in Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts. I don't know how people look at him. Some people love him. Some people don't. Some people don't believe in him. And if you haven't been watching his progress, you really don't know what to put an evaluation on him. Here, let me throw this at you here. Let me show you how the national media thinks of Jalen Hurts. This is Nick Wright. This isn't me. Nick Wright said, if your biggest question mark as a quarterback is your ability to consistently throw the ball, you can't be the second best quarterback in the NFL. There's some truth to that, but that's not everything that. So you're trying to tell me that you have more faith in Justin Herbert because he can throw the ball better? My only contention has been with Hurts, he's not the passer those guys are. But on the other hand, wouldn't we all agree that the National Football League is getting more away from the pocket guy and going more towards the dual threat guy? And why is that? Here's the number one reason that Jalen is in the now and that even Joe Burrow is in the past. What's the difference today when you're building a team? What is the number one problem that you have every year when it comes to NFL teams? What's the number one problem? What's the number one problem? Turnover. Nobody brings the same team back. Nobody. Nobody brings the same team back. So what does that mean? Well, when you start paying a guy, you start losing people in the O-line. That's where all your millionaires are. The number one position group in the NFL is offensive line. There's 5 of them. So you start systematically losing O-linemen. That means your guy's got to be able to get out of trouble, not just throw himself out of trouble like they used to in the past. You can't hoard players like you used to anymore. The biggest problem with the Eagles this year is depth and experience, not bad players. Most teams in the NFL have this issue. They don't have a lot of good players, and they have no depth. And they can't manage their cap. That's where they're great at. The Eagles limit the damage in each offseason since I've been covering them. So I couldn't believe this, but you guys had me rolling more towards you in Jalen going, do I believe Justin Herbert gives me a better chance to win a Super Bowl than Jalen Hurts? I don't know. I think that Charger team's loaded. Would I say that Justin Herbert had a better year than Jalen last year? Everything being equal, right? I mean, would we not agree? Austin Eckler, pretty good back, right? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, I don't know. Pretty good offensive line. Left tackle's one of the best. I know he got hurt. Would you look at Justin Herbert and go, did you underachieve last year? Losing a 27-point lead in the playoffs? I mean, I look at that and go like that. Under his notion, Nick Wright, because you throw the ball better, gives you a better opportunity to win in the NFL. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't. I think everything we've been talking about with Hurts here over the last 2 years has been positive, and I'll tell you why. I know some of you, and even Tone shakes his head sometimes. But what is the one common denominator that has happened every single time that Jalen Hurts plays a ball game? He's been working on the things that he had deficiencies on. He's getting better, and the conversation is elevating, not deteriorating. With Wentz, it went like this. Bang. Right? Dude, I get the 1-year thing. That's my big, I want to see him do it again. I do. I mean, but I want to also see Justin Herbert win a ball game in the postseason. You made him the highest paid player. There's a lot of heat on his ass as well now. We got some great topics today. And I want to do this, and I can't believe here we go with another positive spin with Hurts here. So I saw a little bit of the clips of the Johnny Manziel thing on Netflix. Not that I'm going to sit around and watch it. And he said that he's never been in a position where he watched film as a quarterback in the NFL. I never realized until Tone said this to me, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. I never realized that I had to give you kudos for doing what's expected, but I guess today I do. Who in their right mind would not want to be overly prepared to play the position of quarterback so that you can get wins and the riches that come with it? I want the paychecks and the cheerleaders. And sitting around and not preparing yourself like Kyler Murray. Johnny Manziel is just one of. Look at Kyler Murray. They had to put that study hall addendum in his contract until they realized they were embarrassed. Do you understand the only reason that the Cardinals pulled that out of the Kyler Murray contract is because it embarrassed them? That you had to give a guy that kind of money at $46.1 million, and you gave that guy all that money, and then you realize this guy doesn't really take the game serious. I didn't realize there were so many of the guys like that, especially at that position. The highest paid position in American football is the quarterback position. And you don't want to show up and just get this. Think about what I'm going to say to you here about what Jalen Hurts does better than just about everybody in the league. Watch this. Jalen Hurts studies harder than everyone in the NFL. And here's the difference with Jalen and some of these other gifted guys. It takes no talent to study. It takes no talent to be prepared. You don't have to be talented to study. You don't have to be talented to prepare yourself for something. Dedication is not talent. Dedication is willpower. It's willpower. It's a desire that you have in you. That's what separates certain guys. That has, I tell my daughter this too. Being in shape takes no talent. Being prepared, you don't have to be athletically gifted to be prepared, to be in shape, to study, to understand the nuances of the game. Okay? You don't have to. I mean, it's awesome. Good for him. And then what you do is you sit here and you go, Jalen is I didn't realize when the first thing you say about Hurts is he's so prepared and he's so dedicated and he's so this and that. I guess that I have to do this. Well, I surely hope that dedication, in my opinion, is with your quarterback, because if it's not, you're not going to beat Hurts. Not to make excuses, but today there are way more distractions, which makes it too easy for guys to get fat off their minimal success, or attention spans are dwindling. Social media inflates these guys' egos and overflates their importance and work ethic and dedication. Today it's at a premium. Tone, I'm going to say something to you guys here, and maybe I humble myself to you guys. So I'm going to humble myself to you. Yeah, I understand what Johnny Manziel did. I failed too like that. It wasn't about ability. It was studying. I didn't realize that once I got all the money, what Tone just said, Tone, when I got $600,000 put in my bank account, I had all the money in the world. I could do anything I wanted. I forgot the little things that got me to where I was. It's funny, when I sat in my locker for the first time, not to make excuses, this is my fault, totally 100% on me. You know, my first question was to myself when I had my Buccaneer helmet in my hand, what do I do next? And this is what makes Hurts mature. He knew what to do next. He knew to work hard. That's why I never take days off. I said if I ever got into a position in something that I loved, I would be dedicated and I would never take a day off and I would never do a layup. And I found it in broadcasting. I haven't taken a personal day off in 3 years. That's how that situation impacted me, because I let my NFL career go through my fingers. I lost it. Something I live with every day. I had it in my hand. I had it. I had it. Easily lost. So I understand. I understand where Manziel was. All the money, all the fame. What happens is you look up. Thank you, Michael. Do you know the biggest thing I'll never forget? Get this. I watch myself sometimes on film when I was with the Bucks, and I went like this. I can't believe I'm not running to the ball from the backside. And I used to run people down. All the film I watched at UM, I got to the Bucks, I didn't do enough of it. God has different plans for you. You have an amazing show. Thank you, guys. This is why, though. Okay? This is why I failed. Look, and that's why I had to string together 7 years of pro football in different leagues around the world. I found it too late. So Manziel, I don't have any sympathy for you, but I have an understanding for you. It'll haunt you for the rest of your life. So this is why you have something in Jalen Hurts. That Jalen Hurts has just been given $255 million. He didn't want to do the Netflix thing. He's turned it down a couple times. He's so focused. And you know what? That is humility. That is leadership. That is focus. That is never letting the moment get too big. That's why that kid is going to outperform Justin Herbert. Because of that willpower. He's not more talented than him, but he's going to will himself past him. That's the difference in dudes. Trust me when I tell you, I see guys that I played with, they're having all these great successes, and I put my head down and I go, that guy backed me up and got me water. Rich McKay comes on and tells you how they didn't play. I didn't care. It was me. That's why when I see Manziel, and to Tone's point, hey, man, he didn't watch film. I understand. All of a sudden, you're given something you've never been given before, and you lose focus. It's easy when you got $10,000 in your pocket or $20,000 in your pocket, and I've had that. It's the winning and losing in that is not just on the field. Jay Busco Sills, you are a hater, but you're our hater. We got you. Dion is perfect. Watch this, Dion. Brady wasn't the most talented but you couldn't bet against him. Dion, let me just change it for you. Hurts wasn't the most talented, but you couldn't bet against him. Doesn't it fit? Wasn't it fit? Doesn't it fit? Right? Hey, and sometimes, guys, when I talk to you, if it sounds like I'm coming from a place of success, I'm not. I'm coming from a place of failure because I let it loose. That's why when someone goes like this to me, oh, Sills, you were a bust and you're ripping on Jordan Davis. You're damn right. Don't be that kid. Don't let a cheeseburger get in your way, son. Don't let a cheeseburger get in your way because you'll regret it later. That's where I come from. You heard Rich McKay, who was the GM of the Bucs then. Most talented guy on our D-line. But maybe at times the most immature guy in our D-line. Jalen had haters on his own team at Alabama. Jalen had haters on his own team in Philly, and he won them over with dedication, hard work, and being genuine. That's why when I see these stories like Manziel, you have to love Jalen Hurts. Okay? Quan goes, we're your therapist, Sills. How does it make you feel? I'm not sure at times. Quan, I'm not. Hey, too much time at Hooters? Hey, my friend, I don't know if it's too much time at Hooters. Okay? I don't think it well, maybe it was Hooters. Okay? Okay? Maybe it was Hooters. All right? Dan criticizes the Eagles, but hey, Ray, it's all good, my friend. It's absolutely all good. Okay? All good, my friends. All good. Okay, let's do this now. I want to ask you this question here about Haason Reddick. Let me go here. Let's do this about Reddick. And then I'm gonna say something to you guys. And because Lamar Jackson, you guys, and we're playing against Lamar and the Ravens. I don't think Lamar's going to play in a couple days. But I want to talk about Lamar Jackson a little bit here. How many people believe that Haason Reddick is underpaid? How many people believe that Haason's underpaid? Thank you, Coast. Coastal Kid, I appreciate that. Big Sills, you're the guy we love to hate or hate to love. Just like I said, sandpaper at first, but you usually... I like that. That's good. Hurts ain't going to play. I'm not putting that kid on the field. Sway says, I believe. Based off of last year, yeah. So let me do this. Here are the 5 highest paid edge rushers in the NFL, okay? TJ Watt averages about $28 million a year, 80 guaranteed. He's a free agent in 2026. Joey Bosa for the Chargers, $27 million per, 78 guaranteed, 2026. He's a free agent. Khalil Mack, 23.5. Max Crosby with the Raiders, 23.5. And Chubb at $22 million. Reddick is 16th. And he makes $15 million with $30 million guaranteed. He's 29 years old. He's the same age as TJ Watt. Is Haason Reddick TJ Watt? No. Is he Khalil Mack? Is he better than Khalil Mack? Who would I pay right now? 32-year-old Mack or 29-year-old Haason Reddick? I'm going to go Reddick. Did you hear what I said? Mack makes 23.5. Okay? Right? Mack has fallen off. To me, Reddick's he's better than Khalil Mack. Is he better than Von Miller? Miller got hurt. He's older. Who would you take? Would I take Von Miller or would I take Reddick? Here's why Reddick, though, doesn't make the $20 million and he makes the 15. TJ Watt is not leading the NFL in third down sacks, cause fumbles. He's a sack machine. Okay? He's a sack machine. What Reddick does is so different than these other guys. He's like a one-of. Okay? Dude, one of the greatest edge rushing years I've ever seen is Haason Reddick. 19 and a half sacks, all the games he played. Number one in third down sacks, caused fumbles. That's a holy terror. Do I think he's a $20 million a year guy? I do. But I think he's limited. And this is why the other teams couldn't figure him out. Because they tried to play him traditionally. You guys understand what I'm saying when I say that? They tried to play him traditionally where he covered and where he would be in coverage, instead of just doing this. Well, he's not the best at it. He's not best at covering backs out of the backfield. Just line this SOB up and let him hit people. And that's what he did. And that's why Carolina and Arizona couldn't figure out this thing. And the Eagles were able to. The Eagles and Reddick changed the company. Watch this. 2 years ago, you're not talking about him being one of the premier edge rushers. Not a chance. The second guy outside of Judon in New England's better. Not now. Because they figured out how to utilize his skill set. Quan goes, no way we can afford $21 million. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's a free agent in 2025. You're talking about a 31-year-old guy then. Are you going to pay $31 million, or would you give him more money at the end of this year and start to put it? Here's what I would do. If Reddick puts up 12 or more sacks, that's all he needs. To me, 12 or more sacks. I'm going to give him a Darius Slade deal, and I'm going to go on one-year deals. Kind of spread it out over 3 so I can give him sign-in bonus money. And this is how I'm going to pay him. I don't know, Tone, if or any of you guys agree with this, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to lower that cap hit. And I'm going to do what they did on his initial sign. I'm going to give him a ton of money and put him on a 2-year contract and go like this. Here's $30 million again, 2 years. Guaranteed money. Lower his base. Making around 20. Well, I give him $40 million. I give him almost all that money up front. Lower the cap hit so that he's not a casualty on the cap. Figure out the signing bonus money and lower that cap hit and do a junior deal like you did for Jalen and Slay. The Eagles in my opinion, at the end of this year, if he puts 12 sacks up, if Reddick puts 12 sacks up this year, in my opinion, they're going to pay him at the end of the year. And what they're going to do is, I think they give him upfront money to lower that salary cap. You know what's funny? Big Pickin goes, you're learning Howie. Big Pickin, what's crazy is no one does this in the league, though. Chris goes, Sills, remember when you said Reddick didn't get off the bus to start the season? Then the guy got off. Correct. His production. Chris, once again, there is always a reason why a guy is on his third team in 3 years. It turns out those other teams were poorly run. Okay? You have a guy that's on his third team in 3 years who's had 2 seasons of double digit, now 3. There's always going to be a question mark for that. Always going to be a question mark. Okay? Sills, if Aaron Donald is available, would the Eagles pay the assets for him? No way. You got to let Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter eat. Don't panic. J-Bus, don't panic. Work these guys. I want to see, dude, you spent a lot of equity on this. Let these guys let's let them play. No way. I'm not doing any of that. Not happening. Okay? Let these guys play here. So to me, again, I'm going to pay Reddick if he has 12 or more sacks at the end of the season. Okay? I'm going to give him upfront money, lower the cap, give him a 2-year contract. And and then you know what you do when you go to the player? Here's $40 million guaranteed money, 2-year contract. You lower the cap down to $10 million per season. The player goes like this. Well, it's not exactly 20, but hey, okay. Because I got money in the bank. Players want the money in the bank. They don't want to be told what they can make in 5 years. No one believes ownership. If you came to me and went, here's a 5-year contract at $100 million, I would look at you and go, what's the signing bonus? $25 million. That ain't happening. Okay? That ain't happening. I want guarantees of over half of that. I want $70 million guaranteed. No way, here's 20. Well, then it's a $20 million contract. These guys fool the public with these deals. I'm talking ownership. In Philly, they don't fool you. Here's how Philly does business. Watch this. Philly does business like this. I'm not paying you. Here's your bag of money, and let's work a deal where we can have a low cap hit. Are you in? Yes. It's the most honest thing you could possibly tell a player. It's the most honest thing that you can have in your organization. I'm not paying you. I'm paying you. Here's your money. We're going to structure a deal where you're not going to kill us on a cap hit next year. Okay. That's why there's no noise in contracts. Philadelphia, they construct the quietest deals I've ever seen. Even the stupid Daniel Jones deal is bad. Look around the league and how shitty. Look at the Prescott deal. Holy shit, is that thing a nightmare? Okay? That thing's a nightmare. And Jerry Jones is screaming at him in practice. Big Sil's always going to be your biggest supporter, no matter your terrible takes, respect, busting butt every day for our entertainment. Thank you, dude. Haas, Philly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way. You want to do, hey, Philly, you want to do soft sports talk? Go to California. and listen to the snowflake sports talk you have in California. Honestly, it's the worst. I've never, except KMBR is a good sports station. I'm proud I worked at that station in San Francisco. But the rest of it is dog shit. It's soft. The fans are soft. Just soft. They show up in the third inning for Dodger games and leave in the sixth because they want to beat traffic. Try that at Lincoln Financial when you're playing the Cowboys. Okay? Try that when you're out there and you're putting your hard-earned backbone into those season tickets you're paying for. Okay? All right. That's how. Do I think Reddick's going to have 12 sacks this year? I do. So, look, you put 16. If you put 28 sacks up in 2 years in Philadelphia in the regular season, you put 20. You almost put 30 sacks up. Are you paying that guy? Shit, I am. Where are you getting that? Now, if Nolan, here's the problem. There's a problem, though, for Haason Reddick. Here's the problem with Reddick. What is Reddick's biggest problem? What do you think Haason Reddick's biggest problem is? What's his biggest problem? Regardless of how people may feel about you, Sills, when they leave this show, they will say to themselves, man, I can't stand that guy, but boy, I was entertained. I think that's kind of what Tone says. Look at Neil. Look at Micah. You're damn right, guys. Way to be on it, man. You guys are on your A game today. No, 85. I think it's Nolan Smith. Because here, if you're Howie, you watch Nolan Smith get around the corner and you see him hitting people and you see that he could be an heir apparent and he's on a rookie contract. Are you going to feel compelled to give him market money, Haason Reddick, if he has 12 sacks or more at the end of this year when you know that kid has the potential to have maybe a higher ceiling? Something to think about. Because what Howie has done there, it's brilliant. Howie knows you, and the league actually knows you have to have guys like Nolan Smith. Because I don't know if you guys agree with me on this. We all agree the NBA doesn't have the pivot man anymore, right? They believe in the hybrid five, right? Big power forwards playing the five. Okay? They don't really believe in centers anymore. They believe in hybrid fives. I think the NFL is more going towards those outside linebacker guys and wanting to get away from guys like Nick Bosa. And if I could have 4 Nolan Smiths, that to me is where I think the league is today. Can cover, can rush. He's multifaceted. Not just a 3-down lineman. I think the league has gone hybrid. Okay? And I think you got to be ahead of the game. If you look at the big edge rushers now, they're all like Parsons, Nolan Smith, Chase Young healthy. Okay? Right? That's the style that I think. You have the luxury of having Smith for 5 years on a rookie deal. That's the point. Would you really feel how about if Nolan Smith, would we not agree? How about this, guys? If Nolan Smith drops 7 sacks this year, are you going to pay Haason Reddick at the end of the year $20 million? I don't know if I'm doing that. Okay? I don't know. Then he's 29. Still 30 sacks in 2 years. You're in a really good position because I'd like to have both of them. So maybe what Howie does, and the owner's so good at this. Here's a 2-year contract, bag of money up front. Let's work a Slay deal, and let's see where the chips fall where they may. You know we're going to pay you. That's how I'd look at him. So being overpaid, I don't think he is. I think he's being rightly paid. Hey, Sills, with Dak having great stats, especially against the Eagles, translated to failed seasons, are you still convinced that Dallas is going to be good? Ace, I'll tell you something, man. I'm going to talk about Dak because he's not having a good camp. Okay? He's not having a good camp. And does that matter, not having a good camp? I'm going to talk about that here. Before I get to Lamar, let's do that with Dak. Someone asked me a question. He threw 3 picks yesterday in practice. Is that a big deal? I said to you the other day about Jalen throwing a pick, and I didn't give a shit. I think you practice bad habits. Bad habits become part of your day, and they become part of your routine. So it's not so much that he's throwing picks in one practice. He's doing it every day. 3 picks here, 2 picks there, 3 picks the other day. It's just now you're hearing Jerry Jones even talking more and giving more praise to Cooper Rush. It's becoming something, and again, he's not a turnover machine. But now all of a sudden, there's a little Wentz to him now where, dude, you're throwing 3 interceptions in practice, and you're doing this routinely. It's becoming part of like who you are. And I think if you keep continuing this trend, you mean to tell me you feel really comfortable going into the start of the season where all you did was throw picks during camp? I don't know. It just doesn't seem to me that, hey, maybe they're working on something different. Maybe they're working on something different here. Look, there's a lot of eyeballs on him. He's the quarterback of the Cowboys. I get it. But I don't think you can go into practice like that, throw 3 picks every day, walk away with yourself going, I'm ready for the 2023 season. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and go like this. I don't give a shit what Pauly Shore and those WIP stats he puts out there. I don't care about that either. But if I heard this, hey, Jalen's throwing picks every day, that'd be a concern for me. Hey, Jalen's throwing a bunch of touchdowns. I wouldn't care about that. I'm expecting that. It's practice. It's practice. It's a controlled environment. Prescott's throwing picks in controlled environments? I don't know. What is Mike McCarthy teaching? What are you doing that's so different this year than last year? I don't know. It's just, again, I don't really think that's a good sign. If that's Dallas, I'm not happy about that look, especially at $50 million. I'm not happy about that. Okay? That wouldn't be something I'm happy on. Okay? Here. I want to do something here. We asked a question yesterday about Jalen Hurts versus Lamar Jackson. And I want to give you my honest assessment of Lamar, where he is, compared to Jalen. And these are the 2 best dual threat guys in the sport. Is there anyone else you would throw in there? Kyler Murray is not in the league of Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. I do not believe he's in the league of these 2 guys. You know why? These 2 guys win. Okay? They win. They're in really great organizations. Okay? Okay? Justin Fields, I don't see the passing yet. Allen, now, Allen throws for 4,500 yards every year. Both Hurts and Lamar do not throw for 3,500 yards or 4,500 yards every year. Those 2 guys are not going to throw for 4,500 yards. Okay? So here's my honest take on Lamar Jackson versus Jalen Hurts. This is my honest. I think Lamar, and this is the Ravens, and this is who the Eagles are playing in their first exhibition game. I think Lamar Jackson is one of the most skilled and exceptional athletes at the position the NFL has. He is an exceptional athlete. I know his family. I know him. He is skilled. He's exceptional. He is a better athlete than Jalen Hurts. Overall, a better athlete. Now, again, that doesn't translate into being a better quarterback. Remember, separate the two here. And don't get butthurt until I'm done. He has shown he can carry a football team. He's carried a football team to a 45-16 record. He has carried a team to wins over Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. He's beaten those guys. His style of play is the concern. How long can he last? We're starting to see a little bit of that decay the last couple of years here. Now, I'm going to do something here, and this is what we talked about with Jalen Hurts. And I'm going to tie this in here with Lamar Jackson versus Hurts here. Off the field, it's kind of chaotic in a way. And it doesn't match on the field, his mentality. I want you to follow me here where Jalen Hurts is different than Lamar and made different than Lamar. So, Lamar Jackson made business decisions last year off the field, right? Would you agree with me? He made business decisions. Maybe he was 85% and he didn't play. Maybe he was 75% for the playoffs and he didn't play because he didn't have his bag of money yet, right? Right? Do you guys agree he made business decisions? He's 1-3 in the playoffs, which is by far not good enough. But I would say this to you, where Jalen Hurts makes smart business decisions off the field, he also makes them on the field. Why doesn't Lamar Jackson do business decisions on the field instead of off the field? And what I mean by that is slide. Throw the ball out of bounds. If you have to get down, get down. Have better awareness around you. You're off the field, the no agent, the bitching back and forth, the miscommunication. You should be, again, maybe that's part of the problem here with him on the field. Jalen Hurts makes business decisions that are successful to his team. Okay? Every decision he makes for the betterment of the team and for the betterment of his being able to get up and play another play. All the things that Lamar does off the field, he made a business decision off the field. Why can't you have that same mentality that Jalen has on the field? Do you understand where I'm coming from? If you could sit out a playoff game or NFL football games at the end of the year because you think it's in the best interest of your career, why can't you have that same mentality on the field for the betterment of your team and for the success of your team and yourself by doing the right thing, by getting down, not running as much, making it? I don't think that Lamar makes anybody better around him, possibly the tight end. And someone would go like this, well, Sills, he hasn't had the skill set. Like I told you before, I don't think you have to have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to be successful. Ask Tom Brady. Ask Patrick Mahomes. I don't think you have to have superstar wideouts to be successful. I think you got to make smart decisions. This guy making a business decision not to play in football games and then turning around in the reckless play that you play on the field, why don't you practice both of it? I think Hurts practices both. Hurts is running up the sidelines. I tell you how important that play is when I watched him in Detroit. Hurts is running up the sidelines. Instead of throwing it into double coverage like Wentz would, or Allen, or Lamar, he throws it out of bounds. He'd rather take the incomplete pass instead of a minus play or a tip or a potential turnover and play another play. Do you know how smart that is? That's as good as figuring out the right play in an RPO. Do you know how important those plays are? Do you know how many of those plays that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson take as minus plays versus Jalen Hurts? How many minus plays do you remember last year where you saw Hurts take a minus play, where he was tackled in the backfield or sacked or a pick? They were limited. Okay? They were limited. Limited. Okay? Hey, Christopher goes, Hurts is overhyped. You know why they're overhyping him? Because they see how the guy conducts himself. And they're not going to overhype his arm. All these guys are overhyped. Watch this. So if Jalen Hurts is overhyped, is Justin Herbert overhyped? Is Kyler Murray? Is Trevor Lawrence? Is Aaron Rodgers? Are these guys overhyped too? Is Dak? They're all overhyped. This guy's making it sound like Hurts is the only guy overhyped. Every guy in the freaking league at quarterback's overhyped. Baker Mayfield's overhyped. They're all overhyped. All of them. So, again, the one thing about Lamar to me, dude, do me a favor. Make some smart business decisions on the field. You need to take a page out of Jalen Hurts' page and out of his book and understand that that guy has done the things. And again, you know what's crazy? It is only 1 year, and I am not ever going to call anybody this or that or say this and elite this or that. 2018 on that same bullshit list, Carson Wentz was number 3. So give me a break. That's a respect list. It's not the best players in the sport, but it's a list I'd want to be on. Not lying. Okay? Not lying. So when you hear it, Lamar Jackson's got to be smart. I'm looking forward to watching him play this year. I really am. Okay. So Nakobe Dean was limited today. How many people think he should be playing in the first preseason game? He is going to miss a full week of practice over an ankle injury. Chris goes, again, what? See, what Chris doesn't get, that would be like you playing a football game without Hurts and never having a quarterback practice, and then put him in the game against New England. Here's a perfect comparison to this. Say Jalen Hurts wasn't going to be your starting quarterback. Would you sign a guy off the street and think you could beat New England? Do you think you could sign a guy off the street and beat New England? Hey, if he was a Will or Sam, probably. But your quarterback or your defense will miss significant time. Boy, I'll tell you what, too, man. You go on the internet, man. Miles Jack is already the next Jeremiah Trotter. It's quite funny and hilarious to watch. It really is. Miles Jack's going to be a stud. Miles Jack was fired and took a pay cut to come to Philly. Okay? He was fired in Pittsburgh, the home of linebackers. Don't go there. Seriously, you go on the internet and you would think that all of a sudden Miles Jack and Nakobe Dean are Hugh Douglas and Jeremiah Trotter. It's funny to listen to and watch. Not true. Kaiser and Reddick were fired. Reddick got $15 million and a $30 million bag of money. Kaiser White got $1.5 million and just got a raise. Kaiser White made $1.5 million last year in Philly and signing bonus money. There was more of an investment into Kaiser a year ago. He was a better player. You've invested nothing in these guys. Nothing. So when you're limited in your resources, as we said, the great thing about the Eagles and how they do business is this. We're paying you. We're not paying you. We don't believe in that position. We believe in this position. What happened this year with the defense is that multiple positions are going to be affected at the same time. Whereas before, last year, you didn't have your tackles affected and your linebackers and your safeties affected at the same time. Okay? Howie needed one more. You had Epps. I liked Epps. I told everyone last year in the offseason, I want to see this guy get a chance. He just got a $7 million raise playing for the Raiders now. Okay? Ace goes, Foles was fired and ended up being a Super Bowl MVP. Okay. But you have multiple dudes on your team that have been fired. Multiple. Cunningham, Jack, Edmonds. These guys have all been canned. Morrow. There's multiple guys with no money. Again, I'm not going to relitigate this again and go back over this again. The problem that I have, and I'm circling back again, Nakobe Dean's a problem. He's a problem. He's not, again, getting the reps. How about this? I'm not even going to talk about his ability. Let's leave that to another day until we see him play more. How about that? You want to be fair? Okay. Let's be completely fair on Nakobe Dean here. We'll take ability out of the conversation, whether he's good or not, or a bust, or a star, or an all-pro. Let's take that out of the conversation. Do you honestly believe that he's going to be ready for New England, having seen no time, he plays a week, misses a week, and you believe a guy who had 34 snaps is going to be ready for the opener against New England on the road? And you guys are going like this. Well, New England doesn't have a lot of stars. They don't need stars to beat someone who never played. This is the NFL. And there's a backup there that you're hoping your back is. That Stevenson kid is better than Swift. You know why? He's done something Swift didn't do. He's got 1,000 yards, 60 catches, and 500 yards receiving. You're hoping for that guy to do that. You're hoping for DeAndre Swift to do that. He's done it in the AFC. $85, Dan Jack had 104 combined tackles and 61 solo. I'll take that guy off the street. Okay. Who covers the 100 solo tackles and 160 tackles of a year ago? A guy who's missing a full week of practice? That guy? Hey, by the way, someone help me out here on this. How many games did TJ Edwards play last year? Actually, let's do this. Be fair. How many games did TJ Edwards play the last 2 years? How many games did he play? Just do the regular season. Out of the 34 games, how many games did TJ Edwards play? Myles Jack has got a career being hurt. Okay? 85, I'm not saying Nakobe Dean soft. That's not where that's not. Hey, by the way, Ray, he played all of them. Here's the one thing about Nakobe Dean at Georgia and why people say, well, he played in really a great defense. Well, Georgia's defense killed everyone. And look at the people he had in front of him. Wyatt, Davis, Carter. Look at the people he had in front of him. He had an elite defensive line in front of him in college. 29 says he played 33 of the 34 games he played in as a starting Mike linebacker. Next 2 years, you think Nakobe Dean starts in 34 games or 33 games out of the 34? He can't even get through a week of practice. Do you really want to risk him hurting his ankle more in one preseason game? So WCB, let me ask you this then. They're in a pickle here. This is the problem that they've put themselves in. They should have known better and brought Edwards back. Because now that he's missing significant time, how about this? How about the communication and listening to each other on the field? There's going to be a communication issue. Why is that? Because he hasn't practiced. He hasn't played. You think you're just going to get out there and start barking signals and strengths when nobody knows what you're talking about? Dude, playing next to each other and knowing everything that people are. How many times has Seth Joyner come on here and said that communication is one of the most important things you possibly can have? I don't give a shit how smart he is. Hey, just because a doctor draws up how to do a heart surgery on a chalkboard doesn't mean he can do it. We're going to do something here at the top of the hour here. Yeah, we're going to do this at the top of the hour here. I'm going to show you how crazy it is around the league when it comes to the quarterback conversation and how insane it is and how where the Eagles are right now and some other football teams. If you don't have that position nailed down on August 9th, you're not winning. You're not winning. It's not happening. Okay? It's just not. All right. Hey, do not forget, next couple days here, especially Thursday, when we're talking about preseason football, this is your home for preseason football, and we are so proud to say this. Hooters and my great relationship of over 35 years, the official home of the National Football Show in 2023 is indeed Hooters, King of Prussia. We're so proud to be part of it with Phil and everyone else and everybody there, all the general managers. This is going to be your place also for you to get your fantasy football leagues, get their drafts. Hey, you better call them because from what I'm understanding, seats are limited. All the preseason ball, this is going to be your one destination for all your fantasy and your NFL preseason. And as we get into the regular season, this is the official home of the Philadelphia Eagle fans, King of Prussia Hooters. Daily specials. Buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless wings free. How about on Wednesdays? One of the legendary events that's been going on for 40 years. This is the 40th anniversary of Hooters. All you can eat Wednesdays, 1983. Kids eat for free on Saturdays. Also, try the fried pickles. This is one of the coolest things, too, you can do. $6, 6 items, your favorite brew, and your food. Pickles, Those fried pickles are some of the best. Also, 6 boneless wings. Put all 6 items together for $6. It's amazing. 240 North Gulf Road, King of Prussia. And do me a favor, when you go to Hooters, make sure you tell them Big Sil sent you.